Good day, folks. So, welcome to another session of my live coding. So, yesterday we started a session where I tried to port the transaction support update from the official Apache Pulsar Java client. So yesterday we were able to look at the commit and we were able to see one of the updates and one of the one of the fixes that they did. So today I'm going to be continuing from where we left off. Today we'll be looking at maybe our bot and every other thing. Hopefully by the end of today we'll be able to be through porting the changes to SharpPulsar. So let's continue. So before I move on, I need to enable something on my system. Well, the songs playing at the background are copyright free. Keyword copyright free from audio library. That's YouTube audio library. So as far as YouTube is concerned, the songs are copyright free. So quickly, so I have to switch my scene right now so that okay. So yesterday I pointed you to this direction. That is the transaction folder, and where we're going to spend most of our time on looking at transaction, comparing it with original Java implementation to see if there's any changes. Definitely due to what we are using, due to Akka.NET that we are using to implement our solution, the only thing we need to do is follow, how will I call it now? Follow the design, but not actually the implementation, because we're all building on different foundations. So yesterday, mhm, okay, so yesterday we were able to take a look at the commit method, and we looked at one of the challenges that you may face, and we talked about how do you propagate this transaction not found exemption server error to the client. And we said one of the ways or I could solve that problem is to change the behavior once the actor receives commit message, is to change the behavior so it becomes commit. But before we actually had to go to this, we ensure that the state of the transaction is opened. So once we've become commit, we remain in this state until we get a response back from the server and transaction response. And once we get that, we compare the error. If the error is not equals to unknown, I showed you how we arrived at this understanding, because if for instance there's no error from the server, the error will be set to unknown. So, and I explained to us how that was by showing you the both C# declaration. So, and we said we look at the transaction. If transaction is not found, that is transaction not found or invalid transaction status, it means the state of this transaction becomes errored or committed based on whatever it is that we get back. And what by design, looking at the design yesterday, it proves that once the state of the transaction is not open, that means this transaction can no longer be used. So that's what that means. If it is errored or committed, whichever way, as long as it's not opened, it means that the transaction is no more valid. So in our case, that means even if they keep sending transactional messages using this how will I call it, even if they keep sending transactional messages when the state is not open, that means it's of no use. It's going to be a waste. The server doesn't end up not getting it, so it doesn't work. So we talked about once at the client side we send an abort message or a commit message, it means at that instance the transaction is no longer needed. So you need to terminate the process, or in our case the actor. So that's why I'm sending it. So that's why I'm sending the actor a poison pill. Not because I'm wicked, so I need to poison it. I'm just kidding. Right? So I need to poison the actor because I'm wicked. So, but not in any way to actually follow. Since now the matter is, why do I need to poison the actors? Because I need to avoid retaining an instance of the transaction actor in memory that is no longer going to be used, that will never be of use to the user. So the best way is to just kill it so that it can be removed from the memory. The space can be used by another actor. So that is the essence of looking at the implementation. That's the essence of, because some users could be very lazy. They will not deconstruct once they've instantiated the transaction actor. Now, once they send the abort or commit message, actually you expect that, okay, once you have gotten to this stage, We are no more longer having able to hold a reference to the transaction object. But some people could forget. Will I use the word dereference them or set it to null or to make it to be garbage collected easily? So in this case, I'm just helping them out with poisoning, with the poison pill, so that even if they forget to actually dispose, okay, I think that is a better word. If they actually forget to dispose the transaction reference at our own side, behind, at the background, we have actually killed the actor itself. That is the references that this transaction references. So in our case, that means we help the user to actually kill it. So it's no more in memory anymore. So that is the reason I did this where I implemented it this way. So I'm going to leave this place right now. So yesterday we looked at commit. So today I'm going to look at abort. And we go to the original Java implementation. You could say that this is out of the way. It's almost exactly the same thing with commit, except for cumulative arc consumer. I think this is the only thing differentiating both the two. So how did I actually implement this in my own code earlier? So let's go back to so let me see message ID. Do you still need message ID? Abort transaction. I don't think you still need this because message ID, clear incoming consumer, get message. I want to understand this. It was sync, clear incoming, get message. And let me see this. Clear incoming consumer. The question is, are we expecting a response back? So if you let's go ahead and look at this instance of cumulative arc consumers. Let's see what kind of data it puts. Okay, so it holds a consumer implementation object with the value set to int. So that means in my own implementation, let me go back. It is already obvious that we no longer need this. So in my own implementation, let me go. Okay, it's actually the same thing. So how did you set the value? How do you set the value? If not equal to null, and get message number. Okay, so we are doing something wrong here. When we send this clear message to the consumer, we need to get the number of messages. Okay, let me see. For each that integer, put it absent. This is quite confusing. This is actually quite confusing because you are saying you're actually getting we are kind of looping over the cumulative arc consumers. I was saying for each of it, we are now saying, okay, we come to this line by saying if the consumer is absent, we should add it to the collection. I wonder where the confusion is coming from. Because if you are looping over this, definitely it shouldn't be absent. It shouldn't be absent. Okay, let's use this one. Now to understand what this is, I'm going to go to Google. At times you might not be able to get. You can just say Java equivalent in C Sharp. Most of the time, you might not get your answer. I think the basic thing is just to understand what it means. In other words, or in other terms, it could mean, in our case here, we could say, it could mean, for instance, let's do it this way. We can say, let me, cumulative. We can say, for instance, oh, this is not okay. Try get. We will say okay if it doesn't contain that particular key, then we could add it. I think that is another way of looking at it. Except we have to get, we need to create an extension method that help us for the sake of comparing the two. We actually created an extension method, maybe named with it absent, which basically behind the scene just checks if the key is present. If the key is not present, then add it. But my confusion right now is why should the key be absent in the first place? Because if you are going to look over the collection of keys and values, we are going to use let me see something. Consumer action. So whichever way put it absent, this put it it absent has to do with the consumer here. And why should it be absent? Well, that is Java for you. You know, a lot of things from my experience while working on Java client, it's as if a lot of things is being done for them out of the box. You just throw any code together and expect it to work. Because my own case is, why should the key consumer not be in the dictionary in the first place? Because if you are looking over it, why shouldn't it be there? I don't know. I don't know. So let's move on. At least based on my understanding, I think we are okay with this. We are okay with this line of code there. I feel maybe probably this line of code is alright as far as that implementation is concerned. Now, if we are going to clear incoming messages and get number of messages, actually tells a story. That means we need to get the number of messages probably after we cleared it. Okay, so let's leave that. Let's move on. So now let's find the usage. Okay, let's go to the consumer. I think that's what we do. Consumer action. Clear incoming. Let me see, okay. Okay, now this is another problem. We are clearing the messages in C, and we are sending it back to the sender. In this case, our transaction. So let's see how. Okay, incoming message cleared. Okay, so okay. You see, that's one beauty of using actor model Akka.net. So now this code is actually how will I call it now? This code has actually been split into two. One which is to send the message. The code has been split into two parts. And two, which is to handle the response from you, which is this. So we are good to go on that level. So let's move on. At least we've seen that this code has been split into sending and receiving without blocking. So the next one now is the next one is that we need to also, just like what happened with the commit, we need to also get the message if there's an error. If error, then we need to be able to see the response. So currently our implementation doesn't actually give us any way to handle such. But what we are doing here is simply sending an abort to the server, and there's no way we are able to get the response back. So that means if there's even any error, we won't be able to get it. We waste. So now there's a change. We no longer need this message IDs anymore. So let's go back to exactly how we implemented this. We're going to go to definition. We need this actor reference. Let's do this. I'm going to copy it so that I can just change it. So I don't need to come back here anymore. So I'll go to the definition for this abort transaction. I'm actually going to paste it like that. But what I need to do is just copy this, remove this, and paste that. So this also is gone. No longer need this anymore. So we need this actor reference. Because remember what we said yesterday. Why do you need the actor reference? I'll answer that question right now. I'm going to answer that question right now. Just hang in there. So why do you need that reference? Yesterday I said we have three layers. And we have, let's see, I think it's the four layers. This will be the server. Server. Handler. Coordinator. And the transaction itself. So now, because we need to change the behavior of our actor, I said, let me see, this is right. Okay, let me use this arrow outside. Okay, maybe it's wrong. Okay, let's do this. Oh, I just discovered something. I never knew that existed. Never knew. What did I just do? Oh boy. Just increase the. Okay, let's just keep it like that. Can you imagine? This is how the accident. This is how we roll. Okay, so. Okay, let me do this. Coordinator. Okay, let's do this. I think that has to do with the. I hope this doesn't become permanent. So what I was trying to do is now, since we are going to send a message all the way from the transaction to the coordinator, once the transactional message is being sent from the transaction actor to the coordinator selects the handler for that particular transaction and forward the message to the handler. Then the handler sends the message to the server. The server then responds to the handler. Now, since now we need to return the response to the transaction itself, in order not to overcomplicate things, once the response comes in from the server, we need to bypass this coordinator because we don't need it anymore, and rather send the message direct to the actual sender of the message. So that is the purpose why I'm adding that reply to in the message object, so that we don't need to deal with the coordinator. So we just send the message directly, so we bypass it. So that's why we have this reply to. That's why we design it that way. So I need to clean up something since we don't need this anymore. We don't need this anymore. So let's go back to our transaction. This will rename this to transaction actor. So this will now become self. So that means you are saying this actor is considered self. So now I need to do something. There's confusion. So I need to rename. This should become a transaction actor. Actually, this is not even a public API, so any renaming here doesn't affect what happens at the front end. So I need to rename that to avoid any transaction after, because we have transaction here, we have transaction there. So I need to do that so that it won't be confusing. So when you send a message, so let's see how. So now what you need to look at the transaction. So we don't need this anymore. We don't need this as well. What we need is just like what we had there. Reply to. So we go to our bot. Okay, I got the response from. No longer need this. All we need is this. So this in C# word is called boxing and unboxing. So I boxed this actor reference, and I came here to unbox it. I boxed it and I sent it via what do you call it, DHL or UPS. So now once it has arrived at its location, we unbox it. So now you need to change this reply to this. Okay, so let me see, listening. Mustache hall. Okay, probably is what I should do for this, for the transaction after. For commit. I should leave this from here. I should lift it from here. Then paste it. Okay, we don't even need that. Sorry, we've taken care of that anyway. So we've taken care of that. We don't need that anymore there. Taking care of that. Hope my voice is loud. Hope my voice is loud enough. So let's move on. Let's look at their bots. Where we are. I hope I've not lost track. So let me close this. Why do I have error here? We no longer need this. So for our bot, we're going to do the same thing. We need to check if the state is open. If it is not open, then we become a bot. If it is open, rather, we become a bot. That means you need to wait inside this state until you've gotten the message. Remember, this is to prevent us sending message to the server when the transaction has actually ended or transaction has is no more found. So you need to remain in that state of voting It's another way of representing state. Just like actor become or not become is another way of representing state. So in this what we are doing now, we are entering the state of aborting, and once we have received our response from the server, we leave that state. The same thing with commit. We are entering the state of committing, and once we receive our message from the server, we leave that state. Is that what that means? So let's go to. So now, what we do is we do exactly the same thing we do exactly the same thing we do for this. All we need to do is copy and paste. Then we use this. We do this. We need to set this up here. So, according to the implementation so this means that once you send an abort to the server, you can only proceed with this line of code only if that's been executed. So what that means is, in our code there, we need to lift this from here and we place it inside this handler here. So basically it's almost the same thing. Okay, so now it comes error aborted. This one is error, it becomes aborted. So let's see if there's anything called aborting here. Okay. That's another big because aborted error get messages. Okay. So what that means is we need to set our state once we've entered this method. So it becomes aborting. But you see, I don't see how we have to just fulfill all righteousness. But since we are actually entering the state of aborting, so that's why I said what this is actually saying okay. You can just say this is aborting. That's the state. That's the state we are entering right now, and it will remain in that state until it's aborted. The transaction is aborted. So, but just to at times you need to follow. If you are following an original implementation, so that in the future, if there's any changes, don't get confused. So that's why I have to do that. So it becomes aborted. Then you have to do the same thing for commit. It becomes committing. So that is committing. So let me see. Aborting. So let's move on and see. Okay, I think that is all. Sorry about that. So now I think we are through with aborting the messages. and I feel we are through with um, committing the messages. So there are a few things we need to look at because I really want to know. I really want to know about this register subscription map. I want to know how it's being used. So I'll come here and find next transaction implementation. What's this? Register traffic control modified by add transaction to okay. Even there's an even a mistake on your own part. Register topic. If there's subscription there. Okay. Okay. Do you expect any response back? So now, yesterday I mentioned how to repeat this again so that for those that are new, they are new with doing things this way. So yesterday I made mention of oh okay my how am I going to do this now? I need to reduce the so I made mention of the reason I chose to use Akka.net to implement my own version of Apache Pulsar client. And I said the headache of managing threads. So in other words, I'm only using Akka.net as a container, or in other terms, as a concurrency model. Now, the burden of having to manage the threads, the burden of having to manage the locks has been lifted off my neck. I've placed it on the Akka.net library. So that's why and once you are doing things like that, that means your method becomes a message. On a standard, what will you call it, a traditional OOP implementation, you have methods and you have field. But once you shift or you move from writing your codes that way, from having to like normally you call the method, you call whatever it is. Now once you move to actor mode or using actor or Akka.net, in that case what that means is the method now becomes message. Yeah, let me show you. Now in this case, add transactions, add subscription to transaction is sync. It's a method, the standard way, the way we all know it. If you're starting out, this is a method. Now, if I was to convert this to an actor, it becomes a message. So, and that's why you have subscription, add transaction. If I need to rename this so it can match. I need to rename it, but now what I want you to understand is method becomes message when you are working with actors. And now we stand it, so let's continue. So then you have to look at, you need to check if the state of the transaction is open. So we say if this is one of the logic, if check if it is open, let's continue to our business. If not, Let's move on. So that what that does. So let's see. Hmm. Hope I've not made a mistake. If checklist is no. Topic. Oh, sorry, I'm actually doing something else. Okay, this also you also need to do this as well. So no hard feelings. You could also say this. Okay, let's do this. I'm using a German keyboard, so bear with me while I find my arts or my hand rather. Okay. So check if I'm topic. Okay, let me see. Where's my okay, sorry. No cumulative between okay, set it to 0. Okay, as far as the transaction actor is concerned, there's nothing much for us to do except a little bit of renaming. So let me rename register transaction, blah blah blah. I think this is what we need to do. So register. So let's see. We only made a mistake here. So the naming here is half. Register cumulative transaction. Commit. Abort. Check open. Probably we are through with this, so we need to move to the coordinator to see if there's any changes we need to effect. Move to the coordinator to see if there's any changes we need to effect. I guess I need to increase the volume of my mic. So let's move on. Transaction builder. Okay, let me see if there's any change there. But before we do that, let's move on to abort. Okay, I said you also need to send this so that we can leave that state of lock of. So let me look at the transaction coordinator client and other. Let me see. Data store. So let's look at them. Sorry. So let's move on. So what we need to take a look at now is to see if there's actually any changes as regards the coordinator, handler map, also current handlers. Okay, let's go to handlers. Okay, handler map. Um, start coordinator, catch coordinator. Sorry. Let me see. Start coordinator. transaction handler, update transaction and blah blah blah. Partitions. I don't think there's any more changes to this. So let's look at the metadata handler. So let's see. We're going to test this now. Connection open, new transaction, another transaction, another new transaction, blah blah blah. So we're going to test it now. So we're going to let's quickly run a quick demo. I publish partition to Windows connection open Windows I partition to okay. I think that's what I needed to do. Let me go back. Okay. So this transaction response. I'm trying to see how I could change the kind of error from okay. What we call this now? Public class. So that calculate okay. So what I want to do is actually change let's go to the handler. I want to change this error type. So I want to change it to this. So what that means is, I don't know if we need this here, but let me copy and we go to the client. So what we do is, okay, so paste this here. Okay, so that means for our own list, we're going to collapse. We don't need this anymore. We're going to, the message is going to be passed with the exemption object. Okay, so we go back to our, what we do is, where's the error itself? Okay, all we do is copy this. Now we say get is that what this is? Let's see. Okay, so now definitely we're going to be getting errors somewhere. So we're going to say if let me see. Oh, let's return error and no. Okay, I know it's annoying now. Let's just continue. So OH is not equal to now. Let me go back to. If it's equal to, let me see. Do you need this? Let me go out with this. Okay, what we do is or okay. So what we do is this. Let's go back here. Transaction coordinator exemption. Yeah. So what's the problem? Argument cannot convert from interface. Interface. What is that? So I need to deal with this. As you're having that's interesting. So this assumption is coming from not this. Okay, let me see this. It's coming from exemptions. Why do we have the same thing? And guess I need to delete this now. Where is this located at? Interface transaction. Okay, I need to move that away from there. Database transaction then isn't okay. I don't need this anymore. Why do I need this? I guess I need to rename this. I don't need this. You need to remove it. Delete. There will be several errors. That's the beauty of it. Okay,
so much to the poltergeist. Trying to hold on to love, but it's frost and nice time. Much but a light from a falling sky.
so we need to review to see where the errors.
Keep holding on to this present time. Inspired by the ones that were left behind us. We fell for the light of a foreign sky. Applying to the forces above this life.
Okay, no error. So let's move on from there. So what we are going to do now, we're going to actually test the transactions. So I've added some transactions here. So let's see. Let's remove all these references.
For the light of a foreign sky, flying to the forces above this life. Been crying so much to the poltergeist, trying to hold on to love, but it's frost and nice time. So much but a light from a foreign sky, flying to the forces above us.
The first thing I need to do is to launch Docker. I need to copy this. Let me see if I've not deleted the image. I think I can. Okay, so I can continue from there. So let's see some errors. Function, okay. Do I need function? I don't need function. This will not work. So I'm waiting for the pulsar instance. What's happening? There seems to be error. So it seems to have an error. So what I would do, I'm going to delete this. And I'm going to copy. I'm going to copy our. Having an error. So what could be the issue? It worked fine. One time it failed to initialize with the data manager. What's happening? It worked fine yesterday. It worked fine then. Okay, let's see. Initial topic. Ledger not found. Manager not found. Manager not found. Function. Do I need function? There's no implementation. Why is it failing? Enable transaction. Do I need function? At times function could actually be the problem. Right now it's not running. Let's go again. This worked on Sunday. I need to delete. Well, what's happening now? Finding initial persistent data service standalone local. So why is it failing? I need to grab the. So I need to paste it in this Pulsar community. The let's go. There's nothing not found. Manage ledger not found assumption. Zookeeper. This won't work. This is one of the issues. Yeah? You guys will need to just keep troubleshooting until at times it has to do with storage, but this is not storage issue. What I'm looking at is not storage issue. It has to do it has to do with function. Okay, let me see. I think there's a way to disable function. Function shouldn't work. That is another transaction mode. What's happening? Probably you need to disable something. Let me see. Let me see what is able. Hmm. Let's try it again. Wow, using connection refused. No, this is serious. Okay, let's close this. Okay, I need to delete this. What is happening now? Do I need to open that portal as well? Okay, let's do this way. What is going on? So let's try to look at the mirror together. Consumer, zookeeper, expiring station, because of accident. Consistent information from the law. Not legal information. Okay, I think the function that is the problem here for me. I don't need function. There's a way to stop disable this. Let me check. Let me check there. Okay. No function with convenience. Okay, I think that's what I need to do. So let's see. I don't need function right now. So probably if I need function, I need to use Kubernetes. So I've been standalone. So according to what it's written here, all I need to add is new function work. So what I need to do is so let's go. Now why is Jupiter timing out? So let's see if our pulsar is running. It's actually running. So let's see if we can connect it. Well, look how okay, like I said on Sunday when we were putting transaction API, admin API, I said once you get this kind of error, that means your cluster is running fine. So now what we need to do is test out our transaction to see if there's any error that we need to fix. So we include it. Okay, Git text explorer, test explorer. So We will need to close this. We don't need this anymore. So let's see if okay, still running. So now what we want to do is test but before we do that, I need to do something. I need to clear the log. So that in case of any new log, we need to log. So I have to delete this log. So let's go to transaction. So let's debug this. So we are getting so the message is not coming back. We're able to let's scroll down. So we're able to produce a new message. We're expecting to get new messages back within 5 seconds. It's not working. So let's see, let's go to the log. As I said, we should clear that log. We need to save the message there. Sequence. Okay, got receipt. So you see that we're actually able to send a transaction message. Got receipt. Receipt at message 0. ID 72 I think it has to do with now we are seeing that we are able to send transactional message. Obviously, probably network again. So let's end this. Okay. So now to move on, I said actually our code here was actually waiting for 5 seconds. So our code was actually waiting for 5 seconds. Within that 5 seconds, we couldn't get any message back. So I want to run another test right now, increasing the time to 20 seconds to see what we can actually get out of the log. So we actually got a null message. So what's happening? The question now is, let's move on. Let's check. So we have 20 seconds to wait.